Welcome everybody. So where we left off in our last video was the basic nomenclature. So here we will dive into the depths of heat transfer and the mechanisms. So the first thing that we need to know is that heat transfer can occur by one of three processes. The first is heat transfer by conduction. So conduction for now should mean that heat is being transferred in a medium that is not moving, which means that the medium is stationary, which generally is the case for heat transfer through solids. Now, convection is quite similar to conduction, but only differs in one respect in that the medium itself is moving, that the medium itself transfers heat. So, in conduction, the medium itself is not responsible for any transfer of heat apart from its material properties. But in convection, the medium is also participating in the transfer of heat or in the interactions of heat. And in radiation, the medium has no role to play whatsoever. So the earth receives radiation from the sun, but the vast majority of space is nothingness. So that does not impede radiation. For radiation purposes, we do not need the medium. So without much further ado, we'll dive into one of the modes of heat transfer, which is conduction. So for conduction, I'll try to give you a brief intuition of the entire thing. So let's assume that we have a block, right? We have a block with temperature T1 at one end and T2 at the other end. Let's say that this is the X direction, right? And the distance between the two surfaces is delta X, right? Let's say that the material has thermal conductivity K. We'll define this material property in a moment, but let's say that the material has a thermal conductivity K. So what will be the rate of heat transfer per unit area, which is also known as the heat flux, right? So Fourier's law of conduction answers this question precisely, right? So what happens in such a scenario is that the heat flux can be given as, do not be intimidated by these obscure symbols at this moment. We'll go into all of them. So this is what Fourier's law states as the law of conduction, right? So what do these terms represent exactly? K is the thermal conductivity, right? So what do we mean by thermal conductivity? It just means how well the medium is willing to conduct heat through it. And as is evident, it's a material property. Now let's get on to this term, right? Delta T by delta X, del T by del X. What does this mean, right? This means that our temperature for this purpose, if this is the 3D coordinate system that we have for ourselves, let's say this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the z-axis, the temperature can vary along the x-axis, the y-axis, or the z-axis, or it can vary through various combinations of all three. But for our purpose, since we are considering a single dimension, we are considering one dimensional heat transfer, so we will represent this as x, which means that this is the heat flux in the x direction, right? We are not concerned with the heat flowing in the y direction or in the z direction, but this is just with respect to the x direction, which is why this is the partial derivative of temperature with respect to the x direction, right? So if we had assumed that temperature is not varying along the y or the z directions, then Fourier's law could be rewritten as the heat flux in the x direction is equal to dt of dx, and the partial derivative is now converted to an exact derivative. And that's all the intuition you need for partial and exact derivatives for this purpose. Now the negative symbol, the negative sign essentially signifies that heat transfer will always be in the direction of negative temperature gradient, right? So we define gradient as, if this is a point and this is a point where this is x2 y2 and this is x1 y1, right? So we define the gradient as y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, right? So what this negative symbol essentially tells us is that heat will always flow from a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature, which is basic intuition, right? So it will always flow in the direction of negative temperature gradient, right? So just as an aside, I would like to introduce you to a small complexity, that the material property thermal conductivity can also be a function of the temperature, which introduces another aspect of complication in our Fourier's equation, right? But for the next analysis, we will assume that we are dealing with steady state heat transfer. So what is steady state heat transfer? Steady state heat transfer essentially means that the heat transfer rate or the heat flux is invariant with respect to time, right? And the opposite of this is transient systems. In transient systems, the rate of heat transfer or the rate of heat transfer per unit area, which is the heat flux, keeps changing with respect to time until it achieves a steady state value. Now, if we are assuming steady state heat transfer, that means that this is constant with respect to time, or that this is zero, right? So let us start from the basics, right? So we say that this is how it's written, right? Now if we perform some basic algebraic manipulations, we can see that this is how it is, right? And we can simply integrate from x1 to x2, and we can simply integrate from t1 to t2. But you might have noticed a sleight of hand that I've done here. I've kept the k outside the integration constant, which should not be the case, because we have just said that k can also be a function of temperature, right? So if we say that k is actually a function of temperature, then this comes inside the integral, and we are integrating from t1 to t2. Now there can be two cases. The first, where k is constant, right? And the second is where k is actually a function of temperature and changes with respect to the temperature, right? So x1 and x2 can easily be integrated, and the integration will be x2 minus x1. But let's deal with these two cases. Now for one where k is constant, so for that case, k can be taken outside the integration sign, and we can easily write x2 minus x1 equals k, and this will be dt from t1 to t2, right? So from this we can see that q dot double dashed x by k is equal to t2 minus t1 divided by x2 minus x1, which you might recognize from our previous expression is nothing but del T by del X, which is the temperature gradient, right? Now see, since we are dealing with steady state heat transfer, this quantity will be constant, and we have assumed that in our case k is also a constant. So the ratio of two constants will also be a constant, which means that the temperature gradient will be a constant, which means that if we are to plot the temperatures between the two bodies at x1 and x2, they will probably follow a linear curve. Now let's deal with our second case, where k is a function of temperature, right? So here we will have the heat flux into, okay, let's not expand it right now, let's keep it as is. So this will essentially be minus of k into t dt dx. Now from here analytically we can see that this is a constant term, this is a variable term, right? So this can vary. Now if this has to remain constant, then dt dx will also have to vary in order to keep the product of this variable term and this variable term a constant, which is equal to the heat flux, which is a constraint that we've placed on ourselves the moment we assume steady state heat transfer. So for this case, dt dx is not a constant, right? So why did we do this derivation and what importance does it hold for us? We have arrived at a major conclusion, which is that if this is T1 and X1 and this is T2 and X2, we've seen that the temperature profile between the two surfaces will be linear only when K is a constant, right? Otherwise, what will happen is that we might have other temperature profiles which are not linear in nature, right? So for all of these cases, K is a function of temperature itself, right? So that gives us the intuition to have a linear temperature gradient between two bodies or two surfaces. We must have a thermal conductivity that is constant and not a function of temperature. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.